What's up? Happy Monday. I thought, what better way to get you guys going this weekend, this week? Oh, I wish there was another word for week. I just like recently saw this thing about, um, week and weekend are just like, in English, kind of like negative words like WAK. Anyway, hey, starting this series of days off, right, hanging out with me, Sheba. Hey. Okay, yeah, let's get started. Okay. We're like our timing is perfect, but also like y'all. This episode is titled Our Ancestors, what is it? Our ancestors' wildest dreams are too small. We're always told always told we have this idea of our ancestors' wildest dreams and living our ancestors' wildest dreams as a point of honor, certainly for Black people, but probably everyone has this. Yeah, and I have just been contemplating that and seeing a bunch of different things, receiving a bunch of different things, and a question has been coming out. What if we're caught in the cycle of living someone else's wildest dreams? Like, even if it's our ancestors, we have this idea that like, oh, our ancestors, they must be rooting for us. Their wildest dreams must be in service of our, well-being and, yeah. Okay, let's see. Yeah, okay, so this made me think of a couple years ago, maybe like almost 10 years ago now, maybe 8 years ago, actually, specifically 8 years ago, after my father had died. The women in our family, like my mom, my aunts, my cousins, my sister, we would, before my father died, get together every once in a while and talk about we would get together, and what do we call it? We call it a sisters lunch or something, a sisters circle, because I think it started as like my mom and her sisters going to lunch, and then we were all like, can we come? And so one time we made like bracelets, like beaded bracelets and stuff. One time we did like a little maybe like a soca exercise class or like a strip aerobics kind of class. And one time, right after my dad died, we did vision boards. We'd actually done that once before too. Auntie had, that's kind of how I feel like it started. We had a vision boards one. Anywho, I was hosting this one, kind of arranging it. So I was like, sweet, let's definitely do vision boards again. Even then, I was like, I think vision boards are so great. And so I let everyone know that we're going to be doing vision boards. So, bring any magazines if you want. I will have some, blah, blah, blah. And start thinking about, your vision. And this was like a group email. And my Aunt Patrice emails the group back, and she's like, I've already accomplished all of my dreams, so I'm going to sit out this activity. Anyway, it's taxing time for me anyway, because of my father's sudden death, and I had divorced my idiot ex-husband. And so, I responded back. I was like, if you have accomplished all your dreams, then your vision is too small. You need to expand your vision and dream for your children, dream for your grandchildren, dream for the rest of us. If you're so good at accomplishing the dreams that you envision. Yeah, expand your vision. Your vision's too small if you've accomplished it already. Aunt Patrice. Anyway, a whole thing happened and we didn't actually end up doing the vision boards. But, you know, I don't want to say there's a connection, but a couple years later, Aunt Patrice passed away. I don't know how this thing works, but what if it's kind of like the universe is like, oh, okay, you're done? No dreams left? You've accomplished everything. All right. Well, no use, prolonging things. So, see ya. I don't know how it works. Maybe it's something like, you use it or lose it. You're not using your dreaming capacity anymore. Well, okay. Lose the ability to dream. I don't know. Okay, so I also wrote down, I'm always like fascinated about the power of metamorphosis, and I feel like humans are especially good at it, but we also I saw a couple of things about a butterfly metamorphosizing. I don't know. So when a caterpillar turns into a butterfly, it goes into a cocoon, builds a cocoon, and it breaks down completely. And then it comes out into something new and different than a caterpillar. Something that has completely different abilities, has different needs, looks completely different, but is somehow also inherently the same thing. So interesting. And I feel like nature probably does that in lots of different ways. That way especially, it's easy to see. But humans still seem to forget that metamorphosis, great change, is part of being nature, of being a species, of being life, a being. Yeah, so I was thinking about that in relation to I hear a lot of, we kind of got to stick with the two-party system. This is, not the time to try for a third party, because, we got to continue this democracy because it'll be real bad if it breaks down. But I think maybe, like everything, empires must break down and will be built into something new and different. And so maybe we're not supposed to resist nature in that, an empire is going to break down and we're going to build something new and different, alongside it. So now's not the time, to cling to what we know doesn't work, Now is not the time for the sunk cost fallacy, methinks. Because we know what that gets us. What we've had, what we have now. It is the product of us doing the thing that our parents told us to do, essentially, over and over again. We kind of are okay, let's see, what do the elders want? What is our ancestors' wildest dreams? Let's accomplish that. But what if we're caught in the cycle of living in someone else's wildest dreams? Because you got to admit, if we're taught to only achieve essentially as much as our parents, and model our vision after our parents' vision of what is good, of their dream vision, we know that's not going to be enough. It's not going to be nearly enough. Yeah. It's going to keep us repeating and recreating what we've already got that we know doesn't work, rather than what is natural, which is metamorphosis. And humans are extra good at metamorphosis. Like, so it's just and also, what if our ancestors wanted us to burn down the cycle of living someone else's wildest dreams? What if they felt trapped and strangled and stifled and hobbled by living their parents' wildest dreams? And that they like really wished they could have broken free, but for whatever reason, told themselves a story that it was more prudent to, you know, follow in their parents' footsteps and like do what, you know, the elders say and do what, you know, like the elders, like they could never have dreamed of like something like this. So like we have to keep this going. Like, yeah, Billy says, brilliant. He's right. Brilliant. You have to replenish your vision. Notice what is now available, being present. Exactly. Like, yeah, what if our parents wanted to break free from the shackles of living up to and fulfilling their ancestors' wildest dreams? What if my grandmother, what if our grandparents really wanted to like do differently, but they just did a cost benefit, sunk cost fallacy kind of thing. Like, no, what has always been is what should be. And we just got to make the best of it. Like, babes, notice what is now available and be present. Yes. Yeah. Why do you think you're supposed to be doing what you've always done? I mean, like, especially now, like 10 months into a don't want to get demonetized, you know, when I get the requisite views in probably no less than a year, actually. I don't know how any of this works. Doesn't matter. It just flows to me. Anyway, yeah, like what makes so many of us think like we're supposed to be just doing what we've always done and operating how we've always operated? Ooh, I wrote, maybe our ancestors' failure to do things differently than their parents contributed to their untimely demise. Ooh, or unfortunate life. You know, maybe going along with what my grandmother's mom wanted for her is what led my grandmother to alcoholism and an early death. An earlier death than I think, you know, she otherwise would have had. Maybe if she'd have done what she really wanted to do, or what she thought was right, rather than what like her elders said was right or was conceivable. What if going to the army, like my father's father before him, was the cause of my father's premature demise? Maybe if he'd done it like significantly differently, things would have turned out significantly differently. And if you're like, oh, maybe you wouldn't have been here. Yeah, you're right. And maybe something way more awesome would have existed in my place. I don't know. But anyway, all I do know is what is now. And I just keep receiving the message that we're, you know, not supposed to just live my ancestors' wildest dreams. Because if that were the case, you know, I've already done it. What if my ancestors' wildest dreams are simply too small? They're just not sufficient. That's why the world looks how it does right now. Because, like, we've, you know, despite the fact that many of our ancestors' wildest dreams have come to fruition, like, the world still, you know, looks terrible. Multiple genocides. The same people that were like oppressing our ancestors continue to oppress their descendants. And like our environments are like pretty much cooked, yeah, multiple, not a great look. So like, but my ancestors' dreams might have been not being in like chattel slavery, having a Black president, Black people being able to like take international vacations and travel freely, estate planning, Black people getting degrees at these same places as these white people, showing that we are just as capable, we are just as able, if not more able, to achieve what these white people have achieved. And like, yeah, even like getting to have like a life of leisure, getting to like enjoy entertainment and luxury and ease. Those were probably our ancestors' dreams. And we have that. I think we can all agree. We've had all that. And like, we've seen where that dream gets us. Accomplishing that dream gets us. Trust me, I love it. Pretty great for me personally. But for the multiple, again, but also mainly, this one that our these white leaders are funding and facilitating and lying about. I'm just like, what is happening right now? What is going on? Why do we keep doing this little performance? It's just so strange. I'm like, this is absolutely not my dream. This is a nightmare. So, yeah. So yeah, like my ancestors' dreams are insufficient. It's just not enough. I also wrote, so I wrote here, my mom, asks how, work has been and stuff. And if I've applied to promotions. I work for the government, and you can like move on up the ranks pretty much from like GS5, I think, to like GS15. I think like the president is like GS15, so like people up there, I think. Anyway, I'm a 12, and I've been a 12 for like years. But they're like steps within these things so you get like little pay increases, but if I'm honest with myself, like, my mom's dream is, of course, for me to like become a judge. I think it's kind of like the highest you can do, because then like you can't get fired because of this system we have where judges, can keep their job indefinitely, for life, which is a strange thing we've allowed. And we're seeing kind of the consequences of like, is that smart to do? Unelected people with lifetime appointments, with power over like life. Anyway, I think on some level, certainly I like want permission and encouragement to like leave my job and like use my talents like in a more generative way, in a way that's more aligned with me, like in a way that's like not, just furthering this like dumb, not good system that a bunch of mostly men, certainly mostly people of the white race. I just saw like a bunch of different things about how to like avoid getting like censored or whatever, which is like crazy. Anyway, yeah, bad system, dumb and not designed to help us thrive. So I don't want to have to perform more than the bare minimum, more than necessary. Devote too much attention to pretending these systems are like real, and that like I'm like oh, let's keep this going. We just have to like do it better. Like, no, we got to just like do something else. Anyway, so I'm not trying to like move up the ranks to be like a manager and then like, a judge, like get farther away from like the actual labor and the labor itself. I'm already like, made up. Anyway. It's like when Billy was he wanted to leave CNN and he was like putting out little like writings and little cartoons or things, and he would like after he put it out he would be like, I mean that might be the thing that gets me fired, He would be getting ready for work and he'd be like, this might be my last day. And like every time, like, no one even like said anything about it. And it's almost like, dang, like, what do you got to do to get fired around here? Like, yeesh, these people are so conflict averse. It's like, dang, and they really force you to do the difficult work of going against what our elders say, our ancestors' wildest dreams, getting to work in these rooms around all of these European Americans, in their spaces, on their term. Like, I don't know. They're just like everyone else, except like, more mediocre. Like, so like, why? Yeah. Anyway, it's like, if you're fired, it's out of your hands, like you don't have to make a difficult decision if you're fired, but like, if you're not, it's kind of like, dang, you have to just like keep working at this like not great thing, moving up the ranks. Ugh. Just like, that dream is not good enough. Like, I think we had this idea, if we just like get into the rooms, we can change it from the inside. Like, nah, I think there's a better way to do it. So let's just do that. We've tried it. So anyway, so today there's this idea that came to me about that I'm like not allowed to make my mother feel uncomfortable. Like, I have to make her always feel good. Our moms have done so much for us, so we owe them comfort and obedience. But like, I don't know, what if we're caught in the cycle of living someone else's wildest dreams? What if like my grandmother's dream was comfort and obedience, and so my mother did that for her and didn't have the conversations that maybe she wanted to have, or yeah. Anyway, what if instead of I owe her everything, what if she owes me everything? Have we ever thought of that? Like, I don't have as much evidence that, like, I think she brought me here. I didn't, to my knowledge. I don't know if I asked to be here, though. That's another video. But yeah, it's like bringing me to a party that is like staffed by and full of murderers and rapists, and oh, dang it, that was the one I'm not supposed to say. Dang it, grape ists. Well, anyway, and then like this person brings you to this party staffed by all these people, and then they're like, sorry, you can't leave, so might as well see if you can work at the bar or something. See if like make sure you become friends with the the hosts, make yourself comfortable because you can't, my job is done though. I brought you to the party. So, and I taught you good etiquette for how to stay off the radar of the, rapists and murderers. And I'm like, hold up. Wait a minute. I don't know. Like, how would things have been different if our elders had more respect for us? How would things have been different if we hadn't spent so much time trying to impress our elders and carry out the wishes of our elders? And I don't just mean like my generation. I mean like my mother's generation. Like, how would things have been different if my mother or if my grandmother had not tried so hard to like impress her elders? Okay, what did I write? Okay, I feel like, oh, what did Billy write? Oh, about CNN. Okay, so he says they did in our meeting, they'd make just an open call reminder to refrain from expressing. That's like the government. They send you an email. It's like an open reminder to, got to fall within the Hatch Act and refrain from expressing political views at work on social media. But like, what they gonna do? Who's trying to do that paperwork? Who of you watching is trying to do that paperwork? They're not trying to do all that. They're going to let it slide and hope it blows over. They're going to try to not ignore it. They're going to try to ignore it and not give it more attention or energy than we want them to. So yeah, anyway, I feel comfortable in spaces where, and I feel like people are respecting my intelligence when people talk about what's going on, like the multiple, but particularly the one in Palestine. So yeah, I think my mother owes it to me to figure out how to do that. Okay, Billy says, this is where I find grace for ancestors and elders on whose shoulders we stand. Asking questions about what they could have done is for learning purposes, but to return back to the now, back to self. And absolutely true. I'm not ableist in any way. Like, I understand what my mother is capable of, and it's I think we have this idea, like, for the ancestors, certainly nothing they could do. But our elders? I don't know. I think our ancestors' wildest dreams is that our, parents would have a long, healthy life. And I think we've achieved that. I think they're going to be here for a long time, guys. A large majority. I know my mom's going to be here for at least another 15 years, probably 30 years. I'm like, I just feel like these elders, they're going to be here a lot longer than the assumption on which many of us seem to be operating. Like, I feel like we have this idea like, oh, the elders, they're old now. We can't. No, I actually still have expectations of you guys. I know that just because you're old, you're still capable of doing lots of stuff. We've set our society up that way, actually. So you actually have a lot of power the longer you're here. And you guys have taken really good care of yourselves. So you actually can do a lot. You have a lot of mental flexibility, a lot of spryness, a lot of ability to continue to learn. It is only human to learn. It is only human and natural to evolve and metamorphosize. So yeah. And like, if this past 10 months is any, example or foreshadowing of how you guys are going to navigate through the world for the rest of your lives, Y'all gonna have to toughen up. There's a lot of nefariousness afoot, and we're gonna need our elders to get it together. You guys have a lot of power. I believe in you very much. Yeah, I wrote here, I feel like a lot of the elders are celebrating before the finish line. Have you guys seen that? Seen like when there's like people running a race and the person like misjudges where the finish line is, and so they like let up. Someone like goes by them. Anyway, yeah, I'm like, I feel like you guys like, you're like, oh, the finish line is having getting a house, having children, raising your children to adulthood. And then like now you reach the finish line. You guys are taking a victory lap. You guys are like clinking champagne glasses. You guys are like kicking back. You took your shoes off. And actually we're all still running this race. Oh. You guys are celebrating too early. And it's tough for my mother because like she literally runs marathons. And started running them in her 70s, right? She has a brand new hip, She's my mother, so I just know what she's capable of. So, you let up a little early. I think you ran a great race and you still got a little bit left, right? Another 10 or 15 years left. So you guys are going to have to toughen up. Maybe you think because you've accomplished all your dreams, like dear departed Aunt Patrice, because you've accomplished all your dreams, you think you're allowed to kick back and check out. No, we're still running. And if you have a gift for turning your ancestors' dreams into a reality, it's your responsibility to dream bigger than them. For the collective. And it's your responsibility to accomplish those dreams. For your children. You owe your children that. And to your children, my generation and younger and slightly older, of course. And also actually to my parents, to the people who are still here. What if we're not supposed to do just a slightly better version of what our parents did? What if we're supposed to be leading the people who came before us? And like the children are supposed to be leading us. So yeah, I think it's like up to us to not give up on our dreams. I think our ancestors are like yearning for us to break free of the cycle of like limiting our dreams and reality by our ancestors' limited understanding of what is possible. And now we're standing on their shoulders, so we got to create new stuff. We got to expand our vision. It's our duty. Yeah. That's all I got. Yeah. So, in summation, yes. If we think we've accomplished our dreams, we have, sorry if that was loud. We accomplished our dreams. We got the degrees. We got the house. We got the car. We got the children. We got the, multiple streams of income. We got the European vacations. We got the leisure. Okay. Then, I'm sorry, babes. I don't think we're done. I don't think the race is over yet. So get to dreaming, because this is all made up. And your imagination and actions and doing differently are part of it. And we need it. And I'm not going to shut up about this. So you just might as well do what you need to do to be able to incorporate this information. Billy says, imagination and vision, super important. Now, Billy Bunton says that. Billy Bunton co-signs that. So just like, if you don't want to listen to me, listen to the second most brilliant person in human history, which is second only to me. And I don't know if that worked. I'll get it next time. Anyway, okay, bring your forehead up to your screen. I love you. This is all made up. And I think it's kind of your responsibility to like make it up a little bit differently, a lot of it differently. I'm trying to see a metamorphosis. I see this caterpillar ass world. I'm trying to see the butterfly world, okay? You better big up them dreams. You better do it. Don't be coming here like not trying to do this vision board exercise. You already accomplished your dreams. Patrice, don't you? Okay. Love you. See you later. Bye.